First bolt doesn't need to be there. Okay. So if you go to your hotbars, okay. Number one, we have, this is just how I do it. Again, you can always do it whatever way you want. It's really going to depend on the person. Okay. Oh, what's up, Funky? They're better today. It's not perfect yet though. They're making adjustments every day based on the new load. So I imagine in like a week they'll be completely gone. It's a lot better right now, but it's definitely not done. You know, I'm not gonna like mislead you on that. It's definitely not completely fixed. So if we look at bar number one, you're gonna go to GUI, or no, you're gonna go to input bindings. I apologize. This is where all your bindings start. Okay. So some people even unbind some really crucial stuff like crouch to something else and whatever. I don't have lean left or right bound right now because I want to put these on burst keys. I could use an auto hotkey script to bind lean left and right. I just someone sent it to me. I just haven't done it yet. Okay, because I'm like, they should just add this in game. So I'm being stubborn, and that's why these aren't bound to anything. Ideally, what I want to do is I want to use mouse wheel up for lean left and mouse wheel down for lean right. So I can just up and left and then down and right. It seems like that would be really easy to get used to, but I need a script to use the mouse wheel in game, so I'm kind of waiting. All this other stuff you don't really change. I have met a couple players that actually unbound A and D so they could use those for other hotkeys, and then they just didn't strafe, which I don't recommend. It's really weird, but that person was a good player, so maybe something weird like that'll work. Some people don't bind W and they bind it to something else, and they just only use numlock all the time. Everyone does weird stuff with that. I don't recommend messing with a lot of the movement binds when you first start, just because you're still trying to figure the game out. I would delete sprint. You don't need that, and just have auto sprint. We're using shift tab for auto sprint, which is fine. A little clunky at first, but I got used to it. I'm okay with it. So that's all good. Interaction. Okay. Rest is on H. I think I'm going to change that to shift H. And then I'm going to change my witch's brew to H. Makes more sense to me. I have Witch's Brew on my main bar so I can see the cooldown, which is kind of important. What I was debating on doing. Oh, why'd you get timed out, bro? Here, I'll post what you posted. Key binding spreadsheet. Let's check that out. Oh, okay, I got you. I can make something like that. You have a lot of mouse buttons. Not everyone has that many mouse buttons. And I find using a ton of mouse buttons to be kind of clunky. I think yeah, exactly. I think the main school of thought, correct me if I'm wrong here, I think the main school of thought is you want to use most of your bindings on your keyboard, and you want to leave as much off of your mouse that's going to be interacting with you aiming. The only one I've heard used a lot is right click to ray, like the right click button, but I'm using right click to parry. That's what button 1 is, and I think parrying is a huge part of the game, so I like it being parry. But I can see right click to ray being really good as well. So maybe I change that. But I don't know where I would put parry. That's the problem. I really want parry on my mouse. To pull out my sword board, I'm pressing down my middle mouse wheel button. And so I just go middle mouse and then right click. And so it's very quick. 1, 2 to parry. It's very quick. I like that. I like being able to parry quick. Like I can throw a spell, parry their nuke if I'm ahead of them, and switch back. So I find that to be really good. But again, it really all depends on what you're used to or what you want to do. Let me see real quick. My OBS lagging? Was that lagging for you guys? Let me know if it was or not. I'm curious. It was chunking up for me, but again, I have no idea what the fuck's going on half the time. It looks like it's moving fine. So we go to our interaction. Gank is X. I think that's good. Rest I want to change to Shift 8 or Shift H. Fly, that's fine. Previous skill, I'm not really worried about that. Toggle alternative attack. So this is when you go from swinging horizontally to vertically. You usually only do this when you're farming mobs. So it's not an overly important bind, but it has to be important enough that if you get jumped while farming, you're not like and like pressing, like you can't get back to vertical or horizontal swing when you get jumped. So I did Shift plus T, okay? And then for unsheath, I did Shift plus R. So I made R my ray key, and I made Shift R my unsheath. Trigger current item is left click, obviously. Unsheath object, I don't have bound, and then I switched use from F to G, so I freed up F. So F is free right now for me, and I'm gonna kind of, one of the main reasons I'm redoing my binds is because of that. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull up Razor Synapse so I can show you what we want to do with it. I might have to log out of the game, which I really don't want to. I really don't want to do that. Let me see if I can Cortana. Okay. So we got our Razor Synapses open, okay? Whatever. I don't care if you guys can see my fucking email. Doesn't matter. So, that being said, we have the buttons available that we can change. So what we want to do is, I use this for push to talk. This I don't use for anything. So I'm going to do a keyboard function. We're going to change it to right alt. Okay, save. So now that means that every time I press this button, it's going to press my right alt key, which is a key I'm never going to use in Darkfall. Okay, it's a key I'm never going to use. Then we're going to click out of that. Go back to Darkfall. Okay, so that means I can press down that button on my mouse with another key and create a new bind that'll be like this button plus right alt does this. But I'm not really pressing right alt, I'm pressing a button on my mouse. So that's going to give me a lot of extra binds. Should at least. Hypothetically. It's a good thing. So I've had a lot of binds recently that have been kind of funky that I don't really like. So now I'm going to take this opportunity to rebind. So on my hotbar, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5, this is 6, this is 7, this is 8. I've actually been pressing all of those, which is ass. It's really bad. I don't like it. I'm not going to keep doing it. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to put Heal Self and Witch's Brew on F, since I freed up F. Okay? What we'll do is we'll go to our spellbook. And I'm going to just have it, because Witch's Brew and Heal Self are kind of the same thing. If I want to do a heal cycle, they're both long cast times. Heal Self a little bit longer. A little bit, but not a lot. So what I'll probably do is I'll switch those, and then I'll have it do auto cast, and then trigger on release, charge on press, have it cycle. I'm just going to do first available. Okay. Right click on an item to change. Okay, whatever. Okay, so there we go. And then so that is column 1. So we're going to column 1, number 5. So it was Shift V. I'm going to change it to F. So let's see what that feels like. After you change a bind, I recommend you see what it feels like. Ooh, that's really nice. That's so much nicer than everything I've been doing. That's like a night and day change for me, okay? Normally I'd be on this hotbar so I can see my Witch's Brew cooldown. Okay, perfect. I really like that. My food does not need to be on my main bar for whatever reason. It doesn't need to be here. If you don't need to be monitoring the cooldown of it, it does not need to be on your main bar. The goal is to have one bar that you stay on and you press your binds for everything else. So your main bar needs to have the cooldowns you care about. So my spell rotation is very important. My transfers might be important if you wanted them on there. I think potion is important for the cooldown. Food, not so much. So I'm going to move food over here. And then let's see. Maybe I'll just... I don't even need rest on a bind because I bound the ability rest to a key. So that doesn't even need to be on my bar. Whenever you have mounts, I recommend you put them all on one key. Okay? And then do first available. All right, so it's just gonna, if you pick up a mount, you can just do it, drop it, good to go. Okay, so I recommend you do that. I think it already autocasts. I don't think that's necessary. Okay, so this cooldown I care about. On Burden, if I was playing Destroyer, I would really want this on my main bar. I'm not convinced I want it on my main bar right now. I think Pungent Mist I would like the cooldown for on my main bar. And maybe Irot. Like your blinds and your spell rotation are, I think, very important. Maybe even your movement abilities. Those could possibly make an appearance on your main bar so you can kind of keep track of them when you can use them. But if I'm running, I'm just kind of spamming them. That's just how I do it. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is bound to F, and this is bound to Control E. I did Wall of Force and Come Hither on the same bind, and I was cycling them just because I was being lazy about my binds. I don't recommend that. They're two totally different spells. I don't think you want them cycling. That's kind of just a workaround on me being lazy. So we're going to take that off. Then we're going to go back to our spells, and we're going to figure out what we want to do with this. So Control E was Come Hither. Wall of Force, I think I want on my main bar. It's usually an important spell. It's not really big in the meta right now, but I think it's important. Okay. Our field AoEs share a cooldown, so we're cycling them. What I mean by share a cooldown is use one field AoE, and then your second one is half of its normal cooldown until you can use it again. So you want to bounce between the two. Same with 90 nukes, 90 and 100 nukes. Cast this. This will be on 50% of its cooldown, meaning this will be available before this, so you cycle between the two. Okay. 50 nukes, also cyclable. I put them on the same bind as my disabling blows, so that way it's a burst key, so to speak. Even though first available does the same thing, burst key is just the terminology we used for it. So it means whenever I press T, it'll either disabling blow or do shards and fireball. Okay. I have shards right now in the front because I'm leveling it, not because it's better. Fireball is better. But they said they're going to give love to some of the other 50 nukes, so I'm leveling it anyway. Let's go back to our binding so we can figure this out. So I want to rebind everything. Everything past 5, I feel like is difficult for me to press. Like I can press 6 through, like I can do it, but I'm jumping or my hand is hopping, so it's difficult to press. So if something is, you want it as close as you can to WASD, right? As close as you can to WASD. So if we go to input bindings, and then we go to GUI again, we're going to be looking at bar 2 now. This is where our main stuff is. Bar 2, row 1, mouse button 4. Oh, I rebound it. Okay. Yeah, we're going to delete that. We're going to delete that. Okay. So the way it works is that these are the specific hotbars binds, and then if you go down to GUI hotbar row, this is like whatever row you're on, these are going to do this. Okay. So, you know, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Like if I press 9, it's gonna press whatever hotbar it'll do Witch's Brew. So 1 through 5 are the only really ones I care about. So I'm gonna delete these. I don't want to be pressing anything past 5, so I'm gonna remove the ability for me to do that. And then I'm gonna figure out binds that are actually good. So we go back up. to our GUI hotbar. So we're back on 2. So these, I can't press 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 to do these anymore. So I have to figure out how I actually want to bind these. So Stamina Leech on 5. I don't know if I like that much. Stamina Leech is a good spell, but it's not huge for me. I think I'm going to make Pungent Mist on 5. That, I think, is more important. Like, a blind is more important to me than the drain. So I'm going to do that. Doesn't mean I don't care about this thing's cooldown. Doesn't mean I'm not going to bind this. So number 6 is our health pot. Some people have potions bound to a bunch of keys. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use my modifier. So for my health pot, I'm going to do right alt and 1, which is my mouse button. Right? My mouse button, the bumper we just bound, plus 1. So let's see how that feels. It's good. I like that. I think that's smooth. I'm okay with that. And take me. The problem is after you redo your binds, you're gonna be dog shit. So after you redo your binds, go farm a bunch of goblins or whatever until you get comfortable with them. Just because you're fumbling your keys doesn't mean your binds are bad. It means your muscle memory is bad. So don't just change a bind and then go out like, oh, I died because my bind and I pressed it wrong. No, you're just bad. You haven't gotten used to it. Doesn't mean the binding's bad. It could be bad. Doesn't mean that, though. Okay, so we'll go back to our GUI bindings. And now we have the drains. So I think I want to do, for my drains, I think I'm going to do my mouse button modifier plus my ray key. Because I'm used to putting my rays on that key. Those are instant cast though, and this is a charge up ability. I think I want to do 4. I think I want to do modifier and 4. So I'm going to do my mouse button plus 4 for my drains. So 2 on 7. See how that feels. Actually feels pretty good. It's not a far stretch. Feels comfortable. I like it. Okay. I like that a lot. No potion. 2, 3, 4, 5. How do I feel about 5 on pungent? I like it. Instantly, I like it. 1 through 5 should be a good bind for you, okay? Regardless if you're missing fingers or not. That's not true. Anyway. Okay. That feels good. We're happy with those. Okay, we're happy with those bindings. For my debuffs. My debuffs, I have a cycle I was running. You may want to have debuffs bound to a bunch of different stuff. I was using this to grind, so I'm going to leave them all in one thing for now. That might change. You don't want to completely redo all your bindings at once. You want to do gradual adjustments and get used to it. So for the debuffs, I am thinking. Oh, what am I thinking? What am I thinking? Go input bindings, GUI. It's going to be 4, number 7. So 4, 7. And I think we'll do... I think we'll do left alt and 3. And let's do left alt and 2. Or right alt and 2, I apologize. That feels pretty good. That feels pretty fucking good. Yeah, I like that. Okay, we're good with that. We're good with that as well. Okay. Potion, left alt and 1. Okay. And what I'm going to do is, put all your potions on the same bind. Okay. So, right click, open it up. Regents. We're going to find this here. Wait, I need like 2 of them. Find that there, there. Just so if like you loot some, and, you know what I'm saying, it'll use whichever on first available. So go here, go first available, done. Okay. So we have that all bound. You don't need to do auto cast. Potions are just on use. So left alt, my mouse button plus 1, chugs that. Good. Okay, that feels smooth. I like that. I like that a lot. Okay. those feel really good. Okay, so I put heal self and Witch's Brew on my F key, so it's going to go between both with autocast. That's great. I like that. What's up, Pancard? How's it going? So now that I have that, now I've freed up H. Remember, because I made rest shift H. So I have H as a free key. H is a decent key. I think what I want to do... Maybe I'll put Witch's Brew on, or Wall of Force. Hate Plow, just keep spamming login on it. I had the same thing and I was able to punch through. So just keep spamming it. That's what I did and I got through. I wish I had better advice, but that's what I did. So let's go over here. We'll go to input bindings again. So we got to find a binding for our food. Let's put it over here, whatever. Got to find a binding for our food. I want to do... So let's go to GY. I'm going to go to 1 and then 0. So 1 and 0 for food. I want to make H food. I feel like food doesn't need me on important binding. I think I'm gonna do like something crazy like backspace or something for food. I think that's fine. I used to use backspace for food, so I'm just gonna... I think that's okay. I think I want to put H on Wall of Force, so I can start using it more. So we'll go to 2, and then we'll go to 8. We'll bind it to H. Let's see how that feels. So after you do it once, just test it out. So we'll do this. I'm trying to get used to these binds. Actually feels really good. Okay, perfect. So again, I'm gonna fuck these binds up in an actual fight. I will die, 100%, but that's okay. Okay, getting used to your binds is not a bad thing. I had shift 2 for my buffs, and then shift 1 as my buff others. I feel like buff others are more important to be on a better key, and I find shift 2 easier to hit than shift 1. So I think I'm going to switch these. Because buff others you might want to throw in the middle of a fight. You will throw some self buffs in the middle of a fight, but like hasten spells is usually going to be it. And I feel like in the middle of a fight, throwing like a mid haste on someone, mid iron skin, doing that quickly is pretty important. Okay. Don't like that it doesn't show the cooldown on your potion. They need to change that. There's no point in being on my main bar actually if it doesn't show the cooldown. Now that I think about it. So if it's not there, and there's no point in seeing the cooldown because it's not going to show the cooldown, we'll put that there. So our bind was 2-6, so we're going to go to input bindings, GY 2-6. It was right alt and 1, and then we're going to go to 4-5, so right alt and 1, 4-5, right alt and 1. Yep, switch it, done. Okay, so we're going to switch that, and then we're going to put something we care about for the cooldown on here. It doesn't matter if it's bound somewhere else, if I'm just monitoring the cooldown. I feel like Be Gone. It's kind of important to see the cooldown on. I think we'll go with Be Gone. So I'm just going to duplicate Be Gone and put it on my main bar so I can monitor the cooldown. I feel like Be Gone is good to know when it's going to be up so I don't have to cycle through it. So when we look at my main bar now, it's got pretty much everything. It's got pretty much everything I want on my hotbar that I care about cooldown wise. I have my rotation here. I have my raise on another key. I have my Be Gone, Stam Leech, Wall of Force, Witch's Brew, Come Hither. So I have all the things I really care about their cooldown on my screen. Okay. So that's good. So main bar, cooldown. Okay. Main bar is not the stuff you use, your weapon switches, it's for monitoring cooldowns. That is the whole purpose of this main bar. For me at least. Everyone's gonna have different opinions. That's fine. This is what I think the best purpose is of a main bar. For my sensitivity, I roll with 800 DPI, and then sensitivity is a constant struggle. I can't stress this enough. It's going to depend on your playstyle. It's gonna really depend on what you want to do. A lot of people play on super low sensitivity because they want to hit their shots and stay out of melee. Okay, I think it's important to have a nice middle ground balance. I think that is very important. So I used to play on extremely high sensitivity and had dog shit aim. Okay, I've tried to lower my sensitivity from what I used to have to find a nice middle ground. If you can get used to low sensitivity, the best advice I can give you is the lowest sensitivity you can use while properly being able to squirrel in melee. That's what you want to do. So I have it at 1.68 on 800 DPI right now. Okay, this is low for me. This is low. A wrist flick of about an inch, like I'm moving my mouse, so I'm at like an inch and a half for a 180. About an inch and maybe even a little more than that. It used to just be like half an inch for a 180 for me. So the best thing, because melee, a big thing about melee is doing 180s. So you want to be able to do a 180 really quickly, and then after you find out where their back is, you adjust. So you want to be able to do 180 quickly without hitting your keyboard, falling off your mouse pad, having to pick up your mouse. If you play on super low sensitivity, you might have to pick up your mouse anyway so you can stay on them. Okay? I'm still adjusting my sensitivity. I'm not saying to use my sensitivity. I've started to adjust to it. I might need to up it a little more so I can stay on people's backs. I found myself like falling off my mouse pad a little bit because it's so much lower than what I'm used to. So you use your hand, your wrist, and you use your arm a little bit. Like you're moving your arm a lot in Darkfall. So finding a nice middle ground is the best advice I can give you. Okay, so we have all of our spells bound. Cycle there, cycle here. Nothing cycling on Magma because it's its own cooldown. The Bolt. Control Q is my Be Gone. Control Q again is Explosion. Okay, so that way I can just Be Gone and then press it again. I just tried to heal myself. I got used to that. We're messing with our binds here. Okay. That's our potion bind. Backspace is our food. Equal sign is my mount spawn, which by the way, that one I think I need to redo. Because mounts are super important right now. I've changed my use key to G to free up F. G is fine, and then I use Control G for alternate use. Middle mouse button is my sword and board. Right click is my parry. R is my Ray script. I have it on autocast. Careful for raying your mount. I have done this. And then for my weapon switches, we have Q as my two-hander, Shift Q as my secondary Q two-hander, tilde is my bow, T is disabling shot, T is also my 50 nukes. So again, you can couple binds that use different weapons because it's only going to use whatever is applicable. So if I have a staff out, it'll cast Fireball and Shards. If I have my Great Club out, it will disable with my Great Club. If I have a bow, it'll disable with my bow. If I have a Greatsword, it'll disable out with my Greatsword. So 5 bindings and 1 key. That's the best advice I can give you, is to couple as many keys as you can to reduce how much space you need for your bindings. So I think I'm just gonna do those changes for now and see how it goes. I think that was a good overview of bindings.